no fewer than 7,000 delegates of the party will ratify or affirm the vote for the party's presidential standard bearer in the person of President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. My name is Kenan Emma Abodike. Thanks indeed for joining us live. I am here with my colleague.
Thank you very much. I am Mohammed Ali, and I will be with Kenneth to make sure that we give you information on everything that is going to happen here, blow by blow account, if you can say so. But for now, I would like Kenneth to continue with the commentaries. Don't forget, like he said, this is the live telecast of the special convention of the All Progressive Congress coming to you live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority.
Of course, the exercise here appears to be very simple tonight because we expect a couple of speeches before Mr. President will proceed with his acceptance speech at the end of the day. So we shall be expecting some speeches from the APC National Youth Leader, the APC National Women Leader, persons with disabilities, whom we believe will be led by Musbahu Lawan Didi, who was elected into that capacity. Honorable Femi Bajabia Mila, House Leader, His Excellency Senator Ahmad Lawan, Senate Leader, and of course the Governor of Imo State, who is the Chairman, Progressives Governors Forum, Owole Rochas Okorocha. All these people will talk to the audience here tonight. But that will be after the convention procedure by the Secretary, National Convention Committee, Hadiza Bala Usman, and the rest of them. Of course, collation of results for presidential primary election, as well as the announcement of results of presidential primary elections, will all take place here tonight.
Sallallahu ala Nabi Kareem. Ya Arhamar Rahimin ya Rabbal Alamin. Ya Arhamar Rahimin ya Rabbal Alamin. Ya Arhamar Rahimin ya Rabbal Alamin. Ya Dhal Jalal Ikram ya Hayy ya Qayyum. Ya Dhal Jalal Ikram ya Hayy ya Qayyum. Ya Dhal Jalal Ikram ya Hayy ya Qayyum. إلهنا وإله كل شيء إله واحدا لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا ظالمين. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفي رئيسنا محمد بوهاري. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفي رئيسنا محمد بوهاري. أسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفي رئيسنا محمد بوهاري. Ya Allah, we are gathered here for APC convention to confirm our presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari. Ya Allah, make this gathering a success. Ya Allah, support Muhammadu Buhari, support APC, give us victory from presidential election to the House of Assembly election. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
APC, APC, APC. His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. His Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, GCON, SAN. Principal officers of the National Assembly here present, led by the Senate Leader, Ahmed Lawan. Members of the National Assembly here present, National Chairman, All Progressives Congress, Comrade Adams Oshomole. National Leader of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Chairman, 2018 APC National Convention Committee, His Excellency Senator Abiola Ajimobi, Executive Governor of Oyo State. Vice Chairman, APC National Convention Committee, His Excellency Kashim Shatima, Executive Governor, Borno State. Other governors here present, honorable ministers, Your Excellencies, ambassadors, high commissioners, and members of the diplomatic corps here present, special advisors to the President, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Chairman of the State Chapters of the All Progressives Congress, here present, other members of the APC National Convention Committee, distinguished delegates to the 2018 Special Convention of the APC, distinguished stakeholders here present, including representatives of the Independent National Electoral Commission who are here as observers, members of the First Estate of the realm, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my singular honor and privilege to call upon His Excellency Senator Abiola Ajumobi, Chairman, Convention Committee and Executive Governor of Oyo State, for his welcome address to this special convention of the All Progressives Congress. Your Excellency, sir.
Okay, as we welcome His Excellency Governor Ajimobi, Chairman of this Presidential Convention Committee, we want to call on all members of the committee to please join him on stage as he has requested. His deputy, the Governor of Borno State, Governor Shetima Kashim, please join him. Mr. Babatunde Fashola, Minister of Power, Works and Housing. His Excellency, Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Audu Ogbe, Governor Nasiru El Rufai, Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, Governor Muhammadu Badaru Abubakar of Jigawa State, Governor Godwin Obaseki, Governor Simon Lalong, Governor Kayode Fayemi, Senator Godswill Akpabio, please join us on stage. Senator Ima Anosike, Hajia Hawasule, His Excellency Timipre Sylvia, Ms. Sharon Ikeazo, Ramatu Tijani, former woman leader, myself, Abike Dabiri Erewa, Stella Okotete, Our Excellency Pauline Talon, please join us on stage. And of course, the Secretary of the committee, Hajia Hadiza Bala Usman. Please, all of you, come on stage to support His Excellency Governor Ajimobi, the chairman of this committee. Wasiu.
Yala Ajimobi, tenu eni lo fe gbo, akanji o, tenu eni lo fe gbo, akanji tenu eni lo fe gbo, Abiola, tenu eni lo fe gbo, kokoro tó ń jẹ ní lẹ́sẹ̀ tó ń jẹ ní lábíyá, tenu eni ló fẹ́ gbọ́. Kòkòrò tó ń jẹ ní lẹ́sẹ̀ tó ń jẹ ní lábíyá, tenu eni ló fẹ́ gbọ́. Isiaka máa wo bẹ̀, ó ti táwọn yọkọ̀ Fẹ́jímọ́bì máa wo bẹ̀, ó ti fọkọ̀ pa wọ́n. Isiaka máa wo bẹ̀, ó ti táwọn yọkọ̀ Fẹ́jímọ́bì máa wo bẹ̀, ó ti fọkọ̀ pa wọ́n. Àwọn kàkúlétọ̀ jìjà wá, àwọn kàkúlétọ̀ jìjà wá. Kàkúlétọ̀ jìjà wá, kàkúlétọ̀ jìjà wá. Akọni. Akọni, 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 akọni. Ìrájí yọ̀dọ̀ kérésì o, ẹ pariwo ìbò. Ẹ pariwo ìbò. Babátúndé, ẹ pariwo ìbò. Bóyá o, ẹ pariwo ìbò. Káyọ̀dé Fáyẹmí, ẹ pariwo ìbò. Bóyá o, ẹ pariwo ìbò. Nasiru El Rufai, ẹ pariwo ìbò. Bóyá o, ẹ pariwo. Simon Lennon, Boyo, Adisa Boya located today. Bobara Lemi, Bobara Lemi, Enila Jabu, Emma Bobelo, Buhari, APC, Buhari, Benoni, Ọlọ́run ló ṣe yí o. Oyè kan bú èyí ló mọ̀ Rogers fi mú gbogbo èyí ló mọ̀ Chukwu pàṣẹ onílé
APC. If you answer me, God will bless you. Amen. If you don't answer me, God will forgive you. APC. Change. APC. Progress. One more time, please. Can I hear you say APC?
Progress.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me, on your behalf, and on behalf of all progressive Nigerians, welcome our President and Commander-in-Chief, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. I similarly welcome the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. The National Chairman of our great party, Chief Adam Oshiomhole. The SGF, that is Secretary to the Federal Government, and all members of the Executive Council. But in particular, I want to recognize our party leaders, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, former chairman of APC, Chief John Oyegun, our own Baba, Chief Bisi Akande, all the state governors that are here, members of the National Working Committee of our great party, members of the State Working Committee, party delegates from across the country, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please, I seek from you a sounding applause for these stars of our great party, governors, ministers, high-ranking members of the party that are today members of this special convention committee. I think you should please give them a round of applause. These Nigerians have contributed immensely and deposited hugely to the socio-political development of our party. In fact, to me personally, they have made a very huge deposit in my emotional bank account. I thank you all. Before I go ahead, I'd like to plead with all of you to do something for this party. Let's start by taking 1 minute silence to thank God. Say it the way you want inside. Muslims just say Alhamdulillah, 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 Rabbil Alameen. Christians, quietly, just say Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. 1 minute. Those who have said it, God will bless you abundantly. Those who have not said it, you will be falling asleep as you sit down there. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are here today on behalf of the National Working Committee, the National Executive Council, and the 2018 National Convention. I esteem it an honor and a privilege to welcome all members of our great party, the All Progressive Congress, to the 2018 convention of today. 4 years ago, when we gathered at a convention like this to choose our party's flag bearer, the All Progressive Congress was new and young, but determined and passionate to rid Nigeria of the misgovernance and corrupt waste of the PDP. Stirred by this sense of patriotism and unity of purpose, we have succeeded, and we have brought change to better the lives of our fellow Nigerians. The road we walked has not been easy, but we have come far in a short time. We should be duly proud of how far we have come and what we have achieved at all levels of our socio-economic development. Nigeria is a better, just, less corrupt, and more purposeful due to your collective contributions. In winning the various battles, we have a time-tested general in our President Muhammadu Buhari, who is complemented by our Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, and supported by political lieutenants who are accomplished veterans of political battles such as Asiwaju, Chief Bisi Akande, Dr. Ogbonna Onu, Alhaji Yusuf Ali, backed by many young thugs who are now here today as members of this committee. And others are serving in various capacities as cabinet members, governors, and in other high-level positions. We give glory to the Almighty God for all our accomplishments. My greatest joy today is that as we gather here, it is once again the APC, Nigeria's leading and largest party in Africa, that is showing the world its capacity to innovate and give every single one of its members a voice in choosing a presidential flag bearer through direct primaries. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, therefore, this convention opens yet a new chapter in our political history. This party today will again pick a time-tested general, leader, statesman, and most integral civilian president Nigeria has ever had in the person of President Muhammadu Buhari as his sole candidate. For those of you who do not know, President Muhammadu Buhari is the Waterloo of our political opponents. He is the antidote for all political locusts. He is the insecticide for all the political termites, the machine gun for all the political mercenaries. He is the savior of the oppressed, poor and downtrodden. He is the best president of the people and for the people. He has demonstrated enviable record of fight against corruption and promotion of the socio-economic values of our citizenry. He has improved Nigeria's international image and regional cooperation. He has demonstrated the power of example instead of the example of power. We are impressed by his exemplary honesty, sincerity, and commitment to a greater Nigeria. I call on all of us to reaffirm the greatness of Nigeria by endorsing President Muhammadu Buhari as the man to lead us for another 4 years, simply because his values and records represent the best in us. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to thank millions of our party members across the country and those in diaspora. Let us not succumb to the wicked propaganda of our opponents or be distracted by their rantings and tantrums. Let us instead keep our eyes on the tip of the spear. We have a job to do. Let us join hands with President Muhammadu Buhari and roll up our sleeves for the task ahead. God bless our great party, the All Progressive Congress. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And God bless all of you that will endorse and affirm our President, Muhammadu Buhari, for the next 4 years. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Very simple one and straight to the point there. A welcome address by the Chairman, National Convention Committee, Senator Abiola Ajimobi, Governor of Oyo State. It's actually very easy to understand why we are here tonight. Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, that is right, Kene. He has said it all, and it has explained the reason why we are here is either to affirm or to confirm the President, Muhammadu Buhari, as the standard bearer of the All Progressives Congress. And you can see things are going quickly, as fast as it can go. Already we are about to see another speech from the party national chairman, Adams Oshomole. And in the interim, I'm very sure the short interlude by Wasiu Ayinde is going to serve as a break. And at any moment from now, Adams Oshomole will come on if the programs is followed according to the way it is arranged, Kenny.
Interestingly, the Senator Governor Ajimobi was quite poetic in his description of Mr. President tonight. What do you say?
Yeah, it was really poetic and apt, if you may see, because he was using the words to describe the president and the party APC. And I'm very sure, as you can see the reaction of the president, he was amused with the use of words, the play with the words, and everybody here, as you saw, was really, really impressed with what Ajimobi was saying and his apt description of the president and the party.
And of course, Governor Ajimobi actually called upon all Nigerians to really come together and support President Muhammadu Buhari to continue with his change agenda, which is actually transforming the nation. Let's keep watching. We expect a speech from the National Chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole.
APC, His Excellency, Comrade Adams Oshomole, to come and speak at this special convention. Your Excellency, Comrade APC.
Adam Oshomole o, wedodo. Oshomole o, wedodo. Adam Oshomole o, wedodo. Adam Oshomole o. Adam Aliwo,
Members of the National Working Committee of the APC. please come over and
olórí ẹgbẹ́
accompany
wa
the
o.
national chairman.
Adamu ọ̀sí ọmọlẹ̀. Ọ̀sí ọmọlẹ̀ o. Ọ̀sí ọmọlẹ̀. Adamu ọ̀sí ọmọlẹ̀ o. Wẹ̀dodo.
Your Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, SAN, and Professor of Law, the National Secretary of our great party, now gubernatorial nominee, and by the special grace of God, the next governor of Yobe State, Your Excellencies, the leader of the Senate, Your Excellency, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, and the leader of the House of Representatives, our national leaders, including our founding chairman, Chief BC Akande, Baba Awomo KKK, my immediate predecessor, former chairman John Odige Oyegu, our national leader, the Jugaba of the universe, and Asiwaju of the globe, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Your Excellencies, governors here present. Mr. President, we still have 23 governors. Members of the National Assembly, members of the state assemblies, party leaders, honorable ministers, members of the diplomatic corps, friends of APC, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President, tonight, I'm going to make the shortest speech ever. For obvious reasons. We have been on almost 100-hour duty non-stop. So we are most privileged, and we give thanks to Almighty God for making today possible. For us to be able to convene this third convention with one very important agenda: to determine the next presidential candidate of our party. Looking around, I believe my very dear friend and brother, who is in-law to so many people, and I believe he chose them carefully, is my in-law as well. The governor of Oyo State, Chief Otumba Ajimobi, and members of the organizing committee. I believe they've done a very excellent job putting together this convention under 7 calendar days. Even as I'm aware that because most of the members are state governors, they have had huge challenges at home, going through rigorous primaries, whether direct or indirect, but also as security officers of their state, ensuring that those who are contesting for various offices in our primaries, that they are able to do so in a very conducive atmosphere. On behalf of the National Working Committee and the entire leadership and members of our great party, I want to put on record our gratitude to Governor Ajimobi and all the members of the organizing committee for a job well done. Mr. President, the purpose of today, as I said earlier, is to formally affirm the presidential candidate of our great party. But even before now, we had decided, with your encouragement, Mr. President, that we will conduct direct primaries for the presidential candidate. We are very appreciative of the support that you readily extended to us, without which the National Executive Council wouldn't have been able to arrive at that decision. And even at that time, we were not sure how many people will contest for the office. Because our constitution is open, it does not say that the sitting president shall be automatic. Yet, in spite of that uncertainty, Your Excellency, Mr. President, you had the confidence to support the idea and even canvass it forcefully, both at our National Caucus meeting and at the NEC, that we should allow every APC member to have a sense of participation, a sense of belonging, and a sense of ownership of whoever emerged through direct primaries. And because you believe that the slogan of our party is change, and you have launched a program in which you said, Mr. President, that this change should begin with you. I think in compliance with that, leading by example, you are now the first, in my memory, the first presidential candidate, including a city president, who has insisted and who had allowed every member to decide whether or not he should seek the second term. So you have made history, and we are very grateful. Every member of the APC that participated in the presidential direct primaries, they are already feeling a sense of pride that it is they and not the oligarchy that determine that you should run again. Mr. President, it is important that we remind both party members and our political opponents that they might want to argue that, of course, it is a given. It is not. Just in 2015, just 4 years ago, we know that the other opposition party printed only one form for presidential candidate. which was meant only for the then city president. Somebody had to go to court to insist that he has a right to collect the forms, and he was told there was only one form available. Mr. President, just 4 years ago, the other party, faced with moral burden, not being able to speak the truth to the people, gathered what they call faceless 2 million signatories, not verifiable, not identifiable, and they claim that these 2 million anonymous Nigerians are the ones who are asking the president to seek a second term. So when I saw while you were away in New York on United Nations business, I saw Nigerians, ordinary APC members, queuing across the country to vote in full freedom to decide who should be our next candidate. Indeed, whether you should seek a second term. For me, that meant everything. But we have moved away from the era of hypocrisy, of deceit, of trying to wrestle with the truth and confronting the truth boldly. So today, the returning officer will share with you and with all our party leaders and members and increase all Nigerians the number of APC members who came out to vote to nominate our next presidential candidate. I want to thank all those members across the country who participated in this exercise. But, Mr. President, this has been made possible because under 3 months of our assumption of office, the NWC insisted that we should reactivate our membership base and digitalize our membership register so that every member of the APC can, on his own, identify himself as a member of the All Progressive Congress. This membership register has been used to conduct elections across the country, which is why we can vouch for the integrity of most of the elections that have been concluded. And where there are disputes, we have credible basis to resolve those disputes. Mr. President, in line with the decision of NEC, across the country we have conducted, and as we speak, I believe the remaining states are working on conducting their various primaries at governorship levels, Senate, House of Rep, and of course, Houses of Assembly. As of the time I left office, we have results of governorship candidates. Out of 36 states, we have results for 32. And I'm sure before tomorrow or in the next few hours, the remaining results should come in and we'll have the names of all the 36 governors nominated or governorship aspirants who are going to contest for governorship in their respective states. 29 governors, because we have some already elected who are not due for re-election. The same is true of senators, House of Rep, and Houses of Assembly. I want to appreciate the governors and leaders of our party who have done everything possible to ensure security in their respective states, without which the conduct of those primaries would have been possible. I'm also happy to report, Your Excellency, Mr. President, that these primaries have been largely peaceful, even though there have been isolated incidents of disruption here and there. But in all cases, the situation is under control. Mr. President, we have thought that we will use this convention to discuss policy issues, because governance is about policy, and policies are not value-free. They are value-driven. They are necessarily biased. We must cautiously choose who wins and who pays. But because of the fact that tomorrow is the last date for conducting primaries, we realize that we don't have enough time, given the fact that most of our governors and party leaders and senators are understandably very much engaged in their respective states, working hard to ensure that, in collaboration with the electoral panel dispatched to various states, to ensure that the primaries are conducted in a conducive atmosphere. I've had conversation with the organizing committee, and we have agreed that in the next few weeks, we will have a policy dialogue where we will revisit the manifesto of our party, do stock taking of what Mr. President and the state government have done over the past 4 years, look at where we have fared best, where we can strengthen, where we didn't seem to have got it right, what will we do differently, and so on and so forth. I believe that the business of political party is not just to be a platform for electing and selecting candidates. It must be a robust platform for policy contestation and debate, so that when we speak of party supremacy, it is based on the fact that decisions and policies flow from the supreme organ of the party, which the National Convention represents. It is my hope, as usual, that we will have the full support of Your Excellency, Mr. President, and all our governors for us to have this policy dialogue, so that we can do serious reflection on our stewardship over the past 4 years, and looking at what we do next and what we do differently over the next 4 years. Mr. President, you contested the election, and our party contested the election and won on the basis of certain core commitments. We had promised to work hard on the economy, security, and anti-corruption. I'm sure a lot has happened, and under your leadership, we now have a clear-cut economic policy. We can't say, and nobody is going to argue, that we have arrived. But there is no doubt that under your leadership and direction, that a lot has been accomplished. As we speak, the Naira has reasonably stabilized. Sometimes we have seen it appreciating. Our national reserve has more than doubled over the past 3 years, and that is important in terms of our future security and stability of our foreign currency. We still have issues about lending rate, which I believe will be a viable subject for conversation at the policy dialogue. On security, we still have some challenges in some areas, but there is no question that a lot has been achieved. The insurgents, by whatever name called, Boko Haram, etc., they no longer have flag in any of the local governments in Nigeria. Mr. President, you took over out of 774 local governments in Nigeria. By the time Your Excellency took over, about 18 or 28 of those local governments were under the control of insurgents. As we speak, under your leadership, you have regained control of all the 774 local governments. This is not to suggest that once, every now and then, the insurgent does strike. Of course, they will continue to do so, and it will be gradual. The important thing is, under your leadership, our armed forces, I believe, are putting sufficient energy and commitment such that we have not had any general running away from battle. We have not heard any officer or other rank of the Nigerian Armed Forces running away from battle. Before you assume office, many men and officers were tried for allegedly running away from battle. But as we now know, they were not actually running away from battle. The Nigerian soldier is confident. The Nigerian soldier or armed forces are competent. But the problem was resources meant to properly kit them and equip them for battle were not available. So your predecessors in office were virtually asking them to go and commit suicide. And some of them clearly refused to do so. I'm proud as a Nigerian that with you, Mr. President, as Commander-in-Chief, Nigerian armed forces are no longer running away from battle. And I believe that substantially accounts for the progress that has been made in terms of securing the 774 local governments. Let me say this to those who might wish to say, but we still have crime. There will always be crime. The important thing is there is capacity to deal with the crime as it arises. New forms of crimes will manifest, and new strategies will be required to deal with those crimes. What matters is the will and the readiness to fight criminality. Mr. President, the key issue of all that you have done, and the one that has also become very controversial, is your anti-corruption fight. Those who are arrested and are put on trial are quick to point out or allege that the anti-corruption is selective. And they will argue that only members of the opposition are being persecuted. I have two responses to this. The first is that if a political party monopolized power for 16 years at the federal level and bleed the economy for 16 years, spent $16 billion for power, and we are more in the dark, spend hundreds of billions of dollars on roads, and we have more potholes across the country, and they earn the highest amount of revenue at a time when the price of crude went as high as $140 a barrel. And we are producing over 2 million barrels a day. And yet, you travel around the country, everybody is complaining. The roads are bad, the airports are bad. No one points at an outstanding project that can be said to be accomplished over those past 60 years. Our students never enjoy stable academic calendar because of disruptions by various employees whose salaries are delayed or denied or not paid at all. However, Mr. President, it is important to remind those who insist that the anti-corruption is one-sided by looking at those who are in prison. It would be impolite of me to mention the names of senators who have been convicted, who were former governors. It just happened that these senators are members of the All Progressive Congress. If Your Excellency wanted to protect them, you could have entered a nollie prosecute. I am not a lawyer. You could have entered a nollie, even if their cases were in court, or manipulate the prosecution as to have them discharged. It is to your credit that it is under your leadership that we are beginning to see men and even women of power facing corruption charges in various courts across the country. But, Mr. President, if the opposition does not appreciate you at home, world leaders have acknowledged you abroad. Even the president of the US, we all watch him saying, there's a lot of corruption in Nigeria. But the good news is, Mr. President, we are happy that you are fighting corruption and you are sustaining the fight, and we are sure you are going to make a difference, and you are already making a difference. That is coming from the US. The British Prime Minister had cause to say, I don't remember the occasion now, in the UK, that Nigeria is fantastically corrupt. Mr. President, you had the courage to say to the British Prime Minister, you are not here to argue about the level of corruption in Nigeria, except to say that, Mr. Prime Minister, your banks are the custodians or part of the custodians of money stolen from Nigeria. Please repatriate the money so I can take it back home. Mr. President, it takes a man of your courage, of your lifestyle, to be able to look a British Prime Minister eyeball to eyeball and say, return the stolen money. None of your predecessors can afford to say so, because if they do, they will be the worst for it. But that is not all. A man of God in the UK, the Archbishop of Canterbury, excuse my accent if I don't pronounce it well, when Cameron talks about corruption in Nigeria, he said, if Nigeria is fantastically corrupt, President Muhammadu Buhari is fantastically fighting corruption in Nigeria. And he believes under your leadership, Nigeria will be curbed of corruption. Mr. President, we will only be surprised if everybody supports you. Like you acknowledge, I believe, on the occasion of your visit to the U.S., when you were talking to the Nigerian community, those whose supply line have been cut off, those who were making money from fake subsidies, who were draining the Nigeria economy, their only business address is their handset and connection. You have cut them off. You have tried to reconcile effort with reward. Free money is no longer available. And so for all those who have lived and survived on free money, they cannot be your friend. And you rightly identify them. But the Nigerian masses who have been at the receiving end of abuse of power, of manipulation and mismanagement of the economy, they are with you. There is no better proof than the way in which they voted to nominate you, and I believe the returning officer will speak to that. The elections, the by-elections that have been conducted under your leadership, in Ekiti, the people spoke loud and clear. In Ondo, the people spoke loud and clear. And even recently in Osun State, we won the elections. Those by-elections are indicators of the feeling of the average Nigerian about your stewardship. This is not to say all has been well, that everything is fixed. Nigeria and the process of change is work in progress, and that progress has to be sustained. Mr. President, I would like to use this opportunity to say to all our people that as progressive government, we must ensure that we do not downplay the social purpose of government, including the payment of salaries of workers. Mr. President, you had said, and that gives me courage to repeat it, that you don't know how people sleep when they have not paid their employees. I want to add my voice, Mr. President, that even the Bible, because I'm a Christian, it says that the laborer deserves his wages. Wages are not paid out of pity, nor are they rewarded because the employer is buoyant. He who must employ has obligation to pay. I'm happy you have provided bailout to states, and you have on each occasion encouraged them to ensure that they pay salaries and they pay pension. I'd like to join you to encourage all our state governors to pay salaries and pension when they get those occasional handouts, whether they are bailout or they are Paris Club report or by whatever name called. It is important that our bond with the ordinary Nigerian is strengthened. It is important that people see the difference between progressive governors and the conservative governors. That they are doing it cannot be an excuse for us to join them. I'm happy that you recognize, Mr. President, that the poor are your strongest base. And that is why the 10,000 market money is so popular with the poorest of the poor, including the MP program, power program, and all the other social programs that are targeted at the poorest among us. My last word, Mr. President, tonight is to the opposition. And I want to speak slowly now. We are ready after today's convention. We are ready for 2019 electioneering campaign, and we believe we have a lot to sell to Nigerians. I can't wait to have those campaigns to begin. Our opponents are going to produce their candidates, and we will look at their records. If they are former governors, we will go to their states, and we will call on their people to show all the evidence of what they have accomplished in their state. Because, Mr. President, if you cannot manage your house, you cannot manage a community. If you can't manage a community, you can't manage a state. If you fail as a state governor, you can't possibly win as a president. We will speak to those records, we will look at their evidence, we will look at their background, and we will compare them to your own. And the Nigerian people will decide. There will be no chance for hypocrisy. It will be eye mark, not ear mark. If you say, I will put air condition all over Nigeria, we will find out how much air condition exists in your own state. If you have governed a state for 8 years, we will see what difference you have made. So, Mr. President, I'm sure you are ready. I am ready. The NWC is ready. I believe our party members and leaders across the country are ready for that campaign. We will challenge them on their integrity. We will challenge them on their record. We will challenge them on their background. And we will challenge them fact to fact, figure to figure. And Nigerians will decide. This election will not be based on tribalism. It will not be based on religion. It will be based on issues. And it will be based on track record. It will be based on the personal integrity of those who are contesting. Mr. President, I can't wait for us to begin. But let me remind us, this is to the opposition. When out of mischief, they want to accuse us of federal government of abusing federal power. Mr. President, if there is any complaint among APC leaders, it is that Mr. President has been extremely mild. Even myself, sometimes I think Mr. President is too mild compared to what we went through. Mr. President, as a sitting governor in Edo State, I was denied the use of a federal airport. I got to the airport, I could not fly. Mr. President, my brother from Rivers State, a commissioner of police locked him and detained him in government house, moving armor tanks, and said he cannot leave the government house as a sitting governor. Mr. President, your predecessor, the first president, he used 7 people to impeach a sitting governor in Bayelsa, 7 people to impeach a governor in Plateau State. Even myself, I was to be impeached. I had to remove the roof of our House of Assembly in order to survive. My brother in Rivers, he was to be impeached by 7 people out of a 30-member house. He has to do battle and fight like a thug, and I know he's a gentleman because he's a Catholic. But he was almost turned to what he is not. They fought us, they harassed us, they intimidated us, they charged us for no reasons. But Mr. President, tough time don't last. Tough people do. That is why we are standing. I am not about to suggest that you should copy them. We can't copy people who have no character. You must resist temptation, even the pressure from some of those who feel that you are mild. I think that is the price of leadership. But we need to remind them that they laid the foundation for do or die politics. It is PDP that had a president who told Nigerians, and it's on record, that elections were a do or die. Mr. President, you have never said anything like that. So when they talk the way they do, you wonder if they have forgot their own past. But I'm glad that today, Mr. President, your party is stronger. Because as Chief Obafemi Awolowo of blessed memory said, for a progressive like you who have no money, your only 2 qualities is character and honor. That is all you have to invest, and that is what you invested. I still remember your memorable quote 4 years ago on occasion like this when you said, "Dear delegates," this is President Muhammad who was speaking then as a candidate, "I have no dollars to share," because people were sharing dollars. I have no naira to give. I am not a government contractor. I am not a businessman. I do not have foreign account. But even if I were to have money, I will not buy votes. All I offer is honest leadership. Mr. President, dollars were demystified in Lagos. The naira was bastardized in Lagos. Those who came lean went back fat because of the amount of dollars and naira that they shared. Mr. President, you won that election on the basis of your honor and integrity. And incidentally, with the exception of one or two, all those who shared money in that convention, they are the ones who have relocated. And I'm sure they are doing it now in Port Harcourt. I plead with our members not to be full of envy. This time, the way they come, that is the way they will go back, courtesy of the policy of change. So I believe that all of us are proud of you, Mr. President. Leadership by example. The conservative have gone, the progressive have remained. We are stronger, we are more fit, we are ready for the game. We don't want to be celebrated as the largest party. We want to be celebrated as the smartest party, the most cohesive party, the most democratic party. And our slogan remains change. And I need our members to understand this. When we say change, we're talking about change of attitude, change of character, change of approach to governance, change of the way in which services are delivered. It is not about person, it's about process, it's about issues, it's about agenda. So I am going to repeat, and I want you to listen, and that will be the last comment I'm going to make. APC, change. APC, change. APC, sustain the change. APC, sustain the change. APC, deepen the change. APC, deepen the change. APC, digitalize the change. APC, change. Nigeria, say Buhari. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, Your Excellency, the Vice President, the National Chairman has spoken. Please give him a big round of applause. APC is going to be the smartest party, the most cohesive party, a progressive party. It is my honor and privilege to call on small doctor, son of a teacher, one of Nigeria's finest artists, making us proud around the world. Small doctor to entertain us.
APC, APC, APC. You can call me small doctor, Akeweja, Gala, I'm a better, I'm a dancer, I'm a ya teacher. 1, 2, 3. Palopa generator shine.
Well, Kenya, you've heard it all. The APC National Chairman Adams Oshiomhole, in his characteristic way, has said a lot, ranging from the purpose of the party to the performance of the party to what they intend to do as far as policy and what have you. Even their campaign strategy has revealed some part of it. And I think it is a straightforward issue. He has spoken, and he has spoken very well, I think. What do you think?
Comrade Adams Oshiomhole actually spoke very well tonight here at Eagle Square, reminding all Nigerians that the APC has done quite well in a few years in power, and asking Nigerians to toe the line, give them more support, even more than they did in 2015, to see that 4 more years of good governance will really do the nation well.
Let's pause here so that we can allow this young man to really show what he can do. He has a lot of energy to burn, and he's just doing that to the pleasure of the delegates who are already getting sleepy. I'm very sure it's going to keep them awake.
So Niger, Senegal, Congo, Orange, Limpopo. Agege wa. Ọmọ bẹ̀ta yé máa sùn. Parararara. Parararara. Ọmọ ìyá mi yé máa sùn. Yé máa sùn. Ọmọ yèmí gbẹ́ngbẹ́rìgbẹ́rìgbẹ́. Gbẹ́ngbẹ́rìgbẹ́rìgbẹ́ yé. Ìjọ tí mo jó lánàá tán ń pariwo. Olúwayé Wàsíù Àyìndé àwàlá nílùú àtórí. Parararara.
If you don't get money, you can call me small doctor. Ọmọ ìyá tíjà, wọ́n ti gbá penalty lọ throwing. Ọmọ bẹ̀ta yé máa sùn, gbà ó jẹ́ yé máa sùn, bẹ̀rẹ̀ jó, bóyá gbẹ́ngbẹ́rìgbẹ́rìgbẹ́, gbẹ̀gbẹ̀rẹ̀gbẹ̀rẹ̀gbẹ́, gbẹ́ngbẹ́rìgbẹ́rìgbẹ́, gbẹ̀gbẹ̀rẹ̀gbẹ̀rẹ̀gbẹ́. Ìjọ tí mo dó lánàá tán pariwo, èmi ń kọ́, ọ̀la ń kọ́, ọ̀túnla ẹ̀wẹ̀, àwa la nílùú wa torí ẹ máa jó lọ. Ọmọ ìyá tíjà, àwọn jẹ́sí wọlé, wọ́n tún gbé wọ́tà bọ́ọ̀tù wọn dání. Bóyá yé máa sùn, gbà ó jẹ́ yé máa sùn, bẹ̀rẹ̀ jó, bóyá gbẹ́ngbẹ́rìgbẹ́rìgbẹ́, gbẹ̀gbẹ̀rẹ̀gbẹ̀rẹ̀gbẹ́, gbẹ́ngbẹ́rìgbẹ́rìgbẹ́, gbẹ̀gbẹ̀rẹ̀gbẹ̀rẹ̀gbẹ́.
Alábàájẹ́jẹ́ máa bẹ̀lẹ̀ o. Orí mi máa bẹ̀lẹ̀ o. I don't want to offload throw back money mọ́. Lójoojúmọ́, jẹ́ kí fresh máa wọlé o. Àrẹ̀mọ Gucci, bàjẹ́ ọ̀sà. Mọ́tẹ̀rì Ramajago, Túnde wáyà, Túnde mọ́. Naija,
Senegal, Congo,
Orange, Limpopo, Zambezi. Ọmọ bẹ̀ta yé máa sùn.
ọmọ alájà, gbà ó jẹ́
Yé máa sùn.
expensive.
Buhari gbẹ́ngbẹ́rìgbẹ́rìgbẹ́. Yóò gbẹ́ngbẹ́rìgbẹ́rìgbẹ́. Òsínbàjò, èwo ni gúúsù òsì? Prada òsì, tọ́lọ́ ń polówó lórí Instagram, èwo ni Versace òsì? Ọdún tuntun láwa yìí, àwọn òfẹ́ jẹ́ òsì. Owó tó pọ̀ létí,
tó wò lọ́wọ́ bẹ̀ta yé máa.
parararara. When I say Buhari, you say Baba. Buhari. 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 When I say Baba, you say Buhari. Say Baba. Say Baba. Say Baba. Oh yeah, let's go. 1, 2. Buhari ye masun. Yebo ye masun. Òsínbàjò gbẹ́ngbẹ́rìgbẹ́rìgbẹ́. Gbẹ́ngbẹ́rìgbẹ́rìgbẹ́ yé. Ìjọ tí mo jó lánàá tó ń pariwo. Àwọn ará nílùú àtórí. You can call me smart doctor Akéwèjẹ ọ̀gá ńlá.
Small doctor, thank you so very much.
Small teacher, God bless you.
Son of a teacher, thank you so very much. Please give him a big round of applause. APC, APC, APC. Let us very quickly call on Dauda Abdullahi Kahuku. Ra, ra, ra. Dauda Abdullahi Kahuku. Ra, ra, ra.
Hello.
Is he not here? Very quickly. APC, say Buhari. APC. APC.
We are still watching the live transmission of the special convention of the All Progressive Congress coming to you live on the network service of Nigerian Television Authority. Before the next speaker comes on, of course, the next program is going after the entertainment is going to be the convention proper, where the secretary of the committee and the returning officer will reveal the results for delegates to affirm. But before then, I would like to remind our viewers that APC this is the third convention of the APC. The first being the one conducted in Lagos 4 years ago, where President Muhammad Buhari contested the primaries with other candidates, and he emerged as the winner. I remember then we have the former vice president and former governor of Kano State contesting, and Muhammad Buhari emerged as a runaway winner and went ahead to win the national election, creating a history again by becoming the first opposition leader to defeat an incumbent president. So we are here today trying to ratify the same candidate of the All Progressive Party. Unlike 4 years ago, however, he is the only person contesting, the sole candidate, not with alongside others. And what do you have to say about that?
Oh, well, it's nice and fine. And, a responsible party such as the All Progressives Congress has gone ahead to show that they can do it yet again, having done it 4 years ago. Now, emerging the standard bearer for the presidential elections in 2019 for this great party means they have seen exactly what he's done in the past few years. And, of course, a lot has been expected from him this time around.
Yes, and the party, is just about 4 or 5 years old. Remember, 3 opposition parties then, the all ANPP, the CPC, and the ACN came together, and a faction of the All Progressive Abuja came together, and people thought it was some of all these mergers that was never to be, but it has turned out to be a strong opposition that later on became the governing party.
Member of the convention committee, this convention is a commitment to steady, progressive, and positive change. Okay, Rara, you ready now?
Har gobe.
Musa da Isa dan Gombe. Mai gargiya kawai littafi madadin ka ba a samu ba. Kafi su garkiya baba. Zaben ka ya zama alkhairi bai bar mu mun ji kunya ba.
It's APC night, a night to sustain the progress and peace the country is currently enjoying. And with me, I have the Senior Special Assistant to the President on political matters. Sir, we are here today, appears to be your day. You are his advisor. Can you tell Nigerians what they should expect if Mr. President is re-elected? And do you think he even deserves to be re-elected?
By God's grace, he's going to be re-elected. We expect more good works and exemplary leadership. When he gets there, he will continue to fight corruption, and he will carry on with developmental projects. Already we have his political agenda, like fight against insecurity. He has to restore peace in many areas, especially in the Northeast. And he has fought corruption. He has brought social amenities, that is social intervention programs like the Empower, homegrown school feeding, Anko borrowing, and he has brought in economic diversification, moving us away from the mono economy and getting us into agriculture. We have become self-sufficient in rice production. Now the farmers, because of the Anko borrower, the peasant farmers have been turned to millionaires. And we have also developmental projects, like I say, the infrastructure, the roads, the railway lines. If you have tried to go by rail, tried to travel by train from Abuja to Kaduna, you will see how people are scrambling there. It's very comfortable.
All right, with the long list of achievements, we want to believe that every Nigerian will want to vote Mr. President, talking about President Muhammadu Buhari. Quickly, on this side, I have one of the Buhari support group who is here to also shed more lights on why Nigerians should vote President Muhammadu Buhari.
Well, my name is Prince Ebola Martins. I'm the Director of Media and Publicity for the Presidential Support Committee. From what everybody can see, the President has done so well. And I think the poor people in the country is aware now of all the great projects the President has done, ranging from, putting our rail in track. Now you can see some of the rail we have started working. For the past 16 years of all the things you have seen, nothing of sort has happened. So right now you can see what is happening, and also you can also see that all the abandoned projects in this country that has been abandoned, over 50 million projects. President Muhammadu Buhari has begun now to put them into... Buhari is not this kind of a man that we want to waste Nigerian resources by, throwing away projects that has always been on the line before. So you can see him now putting those projects, he's not looking for self-glory. He's not bothered about who starts and who finishes. He just wants the country to move, and this is what he has been doing. And I think Nigerians should really appreciate him for it.
Thank you, Dr. Ebola. Well, studio, from north to south, east to west, the message is the same, which is support the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari for him to consolidate on the good works he's been doing.
Boss Mustafa, the National Chairman of All Progressive Congress, Comrade Adams Oshimole, the Chairman of the National Convention Planning Committee, His Excellency Senator Abiola Ajimobi, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, party elders here present, state governors here present, members of the Federal Executive Council, members of the National Working Committee of our great party, members of the National Assembly here present, party delegates from across the states, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. As the Secretary of the National Convention Planning Committee, I have been given this unique honor and privilege of taking you through the procedure for the election of our great party's presidential candidate. As you're all aware, our great party opted for the direct primaries election method for the selection of our presidential candidate. In so doing, state chapters across the country conducted these elections and so returned the total number of valid votes cast for the candidate by each duly registered member of our great party in their respective states. These results have been compiled and so collated to provide a total aggregate of the votes casted by the respective state chapters for the candidates. Before us, a screen will display for each state in alphabetical order the total valid votes casted in each of those states. Upon completion, the total aggregate valid votes casted will be displayed, following which the respective state delegates will be mandated to rise up and confirm in a yes or no vote on if the so displayed figures are the true representation of the total valid votes casted in their respective states. The Vice Chair of the Election Subcommittee of the National Convention Planning Committee, His Excellency Governor-elect of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, will conduct this process step by step to ensure that the legal requirements for the election of our presidential candidate are so fulfilled. I thank you all for listening. God bless our great party. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless all of us. Thank you very much. APC! APC!
That was not loud enough. APC! Change! Change! Positive change! Your Excellency, the President, Your Excellency, the Vice President, Your Excellency, the National Chairman, Your Excellency, the National Leader of the APC, Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, the next procedure or item on the agenda is a collation of results for presidential primary election, and thereafter we'll have the announcement of results of the presidential primary elections. To guide us for these two important items is no other person but somebody who has done it before. He superintended the very first convention in Lagos. Now, he is also governor-elect of Ekiti State, the immediate past Minister of Solid Minerals, in person of and Chairman Election Committee of the 2018 Convention of the APC. And please welcome Governor-elect Fayemi to guide us and tell us how the results are collated or will be collated and announced thereafter. Governor-elect Fayemi, sir.
APC. 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 Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, GCON, SAN, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, the National Chairman of our great party, the All Progressives Congress, and other members of the National Working Committee, Comrade Adams Oshomole, the chairman of the National Convention Planning Committee, His Excellency Senator Isiaka Abiola Ajimobi, Governor of Oyo State, other governors here present, members of the Federal Executive Council, members of the National Working Committee of our party, party delegates from across the country, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press. The task before me is a simple one, but it is the most important aspect of today's special convention. And just as our moderator pointed out, 4 years ago at the Toslim Balogun Stadium in Lagos, we were all witnesses to the very first convention of this party that produced our first candidate, Muhammadu Buhari, who eventually triumphed in the election in March 2015. Today, we are witnessing a culmination of the process that started on September 28th in our various states and the Federal Capital Territory. And the results of the direct presidential primaries in all of those states and the FCT will now be conspicuously projected on the screen before all of us. And as you see these figures roll out from Abia State right up to Zamfara State and the FCT, my duty is to, at the end of it, ask delegates from all of these states to confirm or deny if the figures before you are the actual figures produced from the various primaries in your state. And once you have done that, we will be able to mandatorily confirm or deny the outcome of the presidential primaries through a voice vote in accordance with the Electoral Act and guidelines of our party. You can see that the figures are now rolling before your excellencies and distinguished delegates. I want you to take a good note of the figures that you have before you. And for our delegates from all of these states to confirm when we get to that point. I believe we just witnessed the last state, Zamfara. We have? May I therefore ask all our delegates from the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory to confirm through a voice vote whether what you saw before you actually represents the votes that you cast in your various states. Yes or nay? I can't hear you properly. Would you repeat that? Yes or nay? The yes definitely have it. Therefore, in consideration of the result of the direct presidential primary election, of the All Progressives Congress held on Friday, 28 September 2018, at all the chapters of the party in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, which results have been duly confirmed at this special convention convened and held this 6th day of October 2018 at the Eagle Square, Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, in accordance with Section 87, subsection 6 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, is hereby confirmed as the winner of the direct presidential primary of the All Progressives Congress. Consequently, his name shall be forwarded to the Independent National Electoral Commission as the candidate of the party in the 2019 presidential elections. Those in favor say yes. Those against say no. The yes have it. The yes have it. The yes have it. Thank you.
Daddy, mommy, Buhari la máa dìbò fún. 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 Daddy, mommy, Buhari la. Ọlọ́run ti ṣe ooo, bàbá ti ṣe. Àsìkò ti wá sí báyìí.
Governor-elect Ekiti State John Kayode Fayemi has actually done his work so forwardly. We all saw the collation of results for presidential primary election there, Muhammad Ali, and it was so simple, and indeed the eyes have it.
Well, you know, Kenya, all the collation, the queue effort has been done at the wards, the local government at the state. So this one is just the collation of the cumulative figure, which was shown there also, and the delegates affirmed that they agreed with the figures because this was the actual figure from their state, and they were for President Muhammadu Buhari. And I think it is part of the requirement for having a presidential candidate, and they have just done that. And I think it is why we are all here. And every other thing is just because of this particular action that has just been completed now.
From one. Thank you. We now have the governor-elect, Kayode Fayemi, to announce the total votes cast for our presidential candidate.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, by popular demand, I have been asked to publicly announce the total figures of the votes for the presidential candidate of our party, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. The total votes cast from the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory is 14,842,700. That's almost 15 million votes. Somebody says it's too small. No, it's not. You want more? Well, that's the figure we have. We want to stick to the actual figure from the state. And that gives you a pointer to what we're going to have in the February 2019 election. More than that. You want it re-announced? This is the registered vote and the registered members of our party. We're not talking about Nigerians who are ordinary voters, who may not necessarily be members of this party. And the figure from our own registered members who voted in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory for the candidate 2,200. That's almost 15 million votes. Somebody says it's too small. No, it's not. You want more? Well, that's the figure we have. We want to stick to the actual figure from the state. And that gives you a pointer to what we're going to have in the February 2019 election. More than that. You want it re-announced? This is the registered vote and the registered members of our party. We're not talking about Nigerians who are ordinary voters, who may not necessarily be members of this party. And the figure from our own registered members who voted in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory for the candidate is 14,842,072 voters in 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Thank you. God bless you. 2,200. That's almost 15 million votes. Somebody says it's too small. No, it's not. You want more? Well, that's the figure we have. We want to stick to the actual figure from the state. And that gives you a pointer to what we're going to have in the February 2019 election. More than that. You want it re-announced? This is the registered vote and the registered members of our party. We're not talking about Nigerians who are ordinary voters, who may not necessarily be members of this party. And the figure from our own registered members who voted in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory for the candidate is 14,842,072 voters in 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Thank you. God bless you.
Well, Kenya, you've heard that once again, and the total figure, about 15 million. That's massive.
Very massive across 30 states, including plus the Federal Capital Territory. They all spoke with one voice. That's exactly what it means.
Well, I'm not surprised, Kenya. Remember, he polled almost 3 million votes in Kano when it came, and other states, Lagos 1.9, and you can see from the reports we got across the country, it was on our news, you can see that there were massive turnout. The one that impressed me most was the one in Goza, Borno State. Goza has been one of the places where the Boko Haram chased the people out, and I saw a massive crowd of people queuing out, and I was asking the reporter, what are all those people doing? He said, they are not, this is not a head count. That was exactly, let me quote him, it's not a head count. These are people that are coming out for the primaries to vote the APC presidential candidate, and they are all in queue to support the President Muhammadu Buhari, who, of course, he will understand their sentiments. Before he came on board, those local governments were under the authority of the insurgents. And I remember when I went to Borno on a special assignment after the Boko Haram. Not too young to run, and of course the affirmative action by the women, and the people living with disabilities have also been craving for chance, and I think the party is giving them that opportunity for them to feel they belong. This is their time. They also have a voice in the party, and perhaps that explains why they have been giving these three, the three first three to speak before the other leaders of the party will speak. That is from the National Assembly, even the governors, progressive governors. You can see that I think it is something really encouraging and is in tune with what the world is going for now: youth, women, and people with disability.
It's indeed an all-inclusive exercise here tonight at the Eagle Square. And of course, the people are happy for it. This is the way things should go, Mohammed, and it's already happening with the APC here in Nigeria.
It is in that state that we welcome to this special convention venue the Katsina State Governor, Honorable Aminu Bello Masari, former Speaker of the House of Representatives. He is here with a big delegation from Katsina State, which includes even the Deputy Governor. And you now know, of course, a special delegate to this convention is from that Katsina State. He is no other person but our president, our presidential candidate, President Muhammadu Buhari. Please give them a big round of applause. APC! Also here is the Osun State Governor, His Excellency, Governor Abdurrahman Aregbesola, and the governorship candidate for Osun State. He is also here. Without much ado, it is my honor and privilege to call to speak for just 2 minutes the APC National Youth Leader.
At this juncture, we'd like to hand you over to the studio where Cyril Stulber is standing by. Hello, Cyril.
Hamida and Faiza Badaru will accompany Abubakar Sadiq, the APC National Youth Leader, to speak to this special convention for 2 minutes.
The nomination of President Buhari as the APC's candidate for next year's presidential election. These pictures are reaching you from the NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. And here in the studio, we have a political analyst, Jide Uju. Jide, thanks for being with us also.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Okay, we've been watching the proceedings in Eagle Square at the National Convention of the APC. But one of the things that people would ask normally is, tomorrow is expected to be the deadline for the parties to round off these activities. And you tend to wonder why it's happening with just barely 24 hours to go. Is it a tradition that everything has to be done at on the 11th hour?
Quite unfortunately, that's the trend, that's the norm in this part of the world. Recall that first and foremost, INEC announced the date for 2019 election on March 9, 2017. Even though we may say as at that time, we didn't actually have the schedule of activities and the details of the timetable. But that was released on January 9, 2018. That was like 10 months ago. And now you have the schedule of activities. We all know that the notice of election was going to be issued on August 17, 2018. And the day after, you can start, parties already have been notified since January that from August 18, 2018 to October 7, 2018, that is the window for you to conduct your party primaries. And one wonders, just like you said in your question, why in 2 months or thereabout that they have the opportunity to have elected their candidates, many of the parties are using the last 24 hours to now hurry the exercise. It shouldn't be, because, well, maybe I'm not talking as a politician. For the big parties, I understand that they possibly are trying to checkmate each other. They don't want their members who lose to have the advantage of going to pick a nomination elsewhere. But for other parties, I really don't know why SDP is having its own national convention today, why PDP, APC, and several other parties that have announced their own presidential candidates earlier today. Why they have to do that, it really baffles me.
All right, the APC convention is taking place. What we're watching from Eagle Square here in Abuja is more or less like they would say to fulfill all righteousness, because for long it's been known that President Buhari would be just the only one on the ticket of the APC. Now, the party adopted direct primary to do this, and you tend to ask, what are the advantages or disadvantages of the indirect primary, the direct primary, and would it be to any benefit or advantage to do what's been done now?
To my own mind, both. What we must realize that Electoral Act 2010, as amended in 2015, actually has spelled out that for you to nominate your candidates, you have to conduct either direct or indirect primaries. It went ahead in that section, subsections of section 87, from section 2, highlighted that if you want to do indirect primaries, these are the steps. But for direct primaries, it says all the members of the party should be given opportunity in the election of their representatives. Now, the interpretation to me is that direct primaries is more inclusive, it's more integrative, it's more, it's giving power to the people. How do I mean? All registered members of the parties are expected to cast their ballot for their choice candidate when you adopt direct primaries. This is at variance with what many political parties have been doing in Nigeria. Right from the return of return to civil rule in 1999, all parties in Nigeria have chosen indirect because it's more, it's easier. It's a delegate system. It's like a collegiate system as we have in US, where, you know, people elect delegates who elect the members who will be the torch bearers. That is more easier to manage, in the sense that if APC had adopted direct primary and indirect primaries, for instance, as they did in Lagos in 2014, it will have just been like 7,000, 4,000 delegates choosing their presidential nominee. But now you could see the figures reeled out, almost 15 million Nigerians, or almost 15 million APC members allegedly elected. So when you say to talk of power to the people, you could see unlike 4 years ago where about 7,200 delegates elected the president or voted in the presidential convention in 20, because there were 5 candidates and 5 aspirants in 2014. Right. We have Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, Bukola Saraki, Rocha Sokorocha, and then the incumbent and one other person I can't easily remember, who split the votes of the delegates. But the president came out top among the 5 contestants there. But now it is a sole candidacy. And we could see that now we can start judging the strength of APC by the amount or the number that have been reeled out, which are like, I think the governor-elect of Ekiti is saying that 14,900,072 delegate party members who voted for are just members of the party. Right. So if it had been thrown open to Nigerians, as will be done on February 16, if the election is not postponed, then you could say that that is already number in the pocket. You are now shopping for more from the generality of Nigerians. So the advantage that direct primaries confer on you, it helps to build the party, to give a sense of belonging to ordinary party members. However, the flip side of direct primary is the logistical nightmare that it poses, because then if APC chose the easier way out, election by affirmation. So we saw last Friday, members just lined up behind the poster of the president and they take a count. If it were to be balloting, where and if there are more than one candidate, it may have presented a huge logistical nightmare in number of ballot papers that will have to be printed, and even the time it will take to count and make a return. But the delegate system is just involving few number of people, but it's prone to corruption. That is the flip side of the delegate system, which is the indirect system that you talked about.
All right, let's look at what happened in 2014 and reflect on what's happening now, particularly in terms of the figures. 2014, you had 5 aspirants then, as we say, Buhari then, Rabiu Kwankwaso, Atiku Abubakar, Okorocha, and Sam Ndai-Isaiah.
Oh, okay.
Sam Ndai-Isaiah. Now the figures. 3,430 for Buhari, 974 for Kwankwaso, 954 for Atiku, and then Okorocha 624, and Sam Ndai-Isaiah came up with 10. Now, that was 2014. Now, with the adoption of this direct and the voice affirmation that we talked about, party members lined up all along behind the pictures of the president. And you see from the figures that we are given, they are close to 15 million, 14 million, 800 something.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the 2015 election, the President Buhari, won with about 2.6 or something million.
2.5 million, actually.
All right. Today, we just heard Dr. Fayemi say that what this figure shows from party members alone is something to reflect what might happen in 2019. Then you ask yourself, up to 14 million party members are saying this should be our candidate. Where were all these members in 2014? They joined all along the lines. Do you expect that that can reflect on the election proper when it's conducted in 2019?
First, we need to contextualize 2014 and 2018. It's not the same method of voting that was adopted. Like I said earlier on, in the 2014 exercise, it was indirect system. It was a delegate system that was adopted. That's why you have that lean figure. It's not because if maybe at that time they have also adopted direct primary,
right,
the number will have been in millions.
Yeah. Okay.
But we must also not forget that power attracts people.
Okay.
In 2014, APC was party in opposition.
Yes.
It was a trial by error. People were like, okay, should we join, should we not join? And of course, we saw that in the lead up to because that convention was in 2014.
Yes.
The election was actually in 2015. Between the time the primaries were concluded in 2014, around December, and the election held in March 2015, a lot of people moved into APC. Even thereafter, when they became party in power, a lot of exodus from the main ruling party then, PDP, moved into APC, swelling the ranks of APC. Now, in 2018, they have opted to adopt direct primaries. That way, the strength of the party is now being tested.
Okay.
What we need to then understand is this. Even the number of registered voters has increased from about 68 million in 2015 to 84 million in 2018, according to INEC. So, likewise, the number of political parties has increased from about 26 that contested in 2015 to 91 in 2018. So, exponentially, there have been increase in number of political parties, increase in the number of registered voters, increase in members of the parties across board. Now, that context being understood, what is the challenge that APC will face? The challenge is going to be from Port Harcourt. Whoever PDP puts forward, if they are able to elect from Port Harcourt a formidable presidential candidate, and don't forget, the context again is going to be markedly different from what happened in 2015. Because in 2015, we have a North-South candidate. PDP fielded a Southern candidate, APC fielded a Northern candidate. Now, in 2018, it's going to be North-North candidate. You will see that even all the contestants that are coming from PDP are all from the North, North Central, Northeast, Northwest. Right. The only candidate, the candidate that will, the aspirant that will have come from Southwest was Ayodele Fayose, who pulled out at the last minute. So what I'm saying invariably is that it will not be North-North, Muslim, against the rest of Nigeria. So by and large, the contextualization of the 2019 presidential election will pan out is unfolding. Right. We cannot say for sure how that battle will be fought and won.
But you think the APC would be over-ambitious to say now 14 million plus of its own members are endorsing this president? If they could get maybe 3/4 of that in the general election?
No, that would not be enough. That will not be enough. If you put that 14, that approximately 15 million, put that against 84 million possible voters. That is just a fraction. However, nobody can interrogate whether we actually have those figures around the country. They are putative figures that were submitted from the different states. We cannot independently ascertain whether those, because APC itself is still registering its members.
All right.
Recall that weeks back, they started continuous registration of members. So we can't conclude now, but it will be suicidal for it to be complacent and say, oh, we already have some 15 million people who are willing to vote for the president.
Well, at this time, we'll return to Eagle Square, the venue of the convention, where at this time the national women's leader of the APC is on the podium addressing the convention.
And we go with you all the way in your resolve to ensure a greater Nigeria and better future for our children. We will stand by you to sustain the change, and according to my chairman, Comrade Adams, deepen, consolidate, and digitalize the change come February 2019 with absolute faith that we will enjoy more opportunities in terms of recognition, rewards, encouragement, and inclusion in our party politics, as well as consideration for more appointments in leadership positions. Finally, Your Excellency, on behalf of every woman and child who has benefited from this administration's progressive programs, I would like to say thank you to Mr. President. God bless Mr. President. God bless Nigeria. APC! Where are the women? I want to hear your voice. APC! 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 Nigeria! Thank you. God bless you.
You're still watching live telecast of the special APC National Convention here at the Eagle Square, Abuja. You're on to the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest television network. Before the woman leader of APC spoke, the youth leader actually addressed the audience. And next will be persons with disabilities. One of the representatives, as it were, will now address
and then at
the
the
audience.
Level, also on the executive, is Osha, Prince Akiade. So just let's hear your words in a few minutes. I'll get the microphone over to you. We'll start with you, Musba.
No problem. Mr. President, Mr. Vice President, the governors here present, my able chairman of the APC, all protocol duly observed. I believe seeing us here means a lot to many people, especially this is the first time in the history of politics in this country where people with disability are given maximum recognition and also comply with the international standard for giving us opportunity to serve or to participate in the political political activities. APC, our great party, has done it. You can go and check in the history of this country, no ruling party have ever given people with disability chance to participate in the politics. Not to only me, we have disabled leader over 145, right from the fooling unit, which they are called disabled canvassers, up to the national level. And I think this is a great thing that has ever happened in this country. My speech especially is appreciation. Mr. President has fulfilled his promise by including people with disability in his cabinet. Two of us, he has appointed two of us as his special assistant and senior special assistant of people with disability. And also many governors of this country, including my governor Ganduje, and many more governors have been able to include people with disability in their cabinet. And not only that, the party has done well, and this is the first time that Nigeria is being represented in the United Nations at various levels for people with disability. So therefore, I promise, and on behalf of people with disability of this country, 25 million of people with disability, many will say why, anybody that is wearing glasses, but I didn't say Mr. President is attached, but anybody wearing glasses is my member. Therefore, we promise to both Mr. President, we promise to both our party, we promise to mobilize people with disability for this great project. APC, APC, and I hope by next time you see us here, we will be celebrating the signing of our bill in this country. Thank you very much. You can see our governors, but my only problem, I have one governor who joined us, but he ran away. That's the governor of Kogi State. Thank you very much.
Very interesting there. Persons with disabilities are also part of this great project here tonight, and thanking the APC, the ruling party in Nigeria, for including people like them in the project called Nigeria.
I give honor to God that created me. I thank God for what He has done in my life. I started my greeting from my President Muhammad Buhari, GCFR, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and also the first President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. I will always thank my national leader, my personal leader, our national leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Jagabambogu of the whole Africa. What I'm trying to say is that they recognize us in this party, our All Progressive Congress. In other parties in the whole world, they don't recognize physically challenged people. They don't think say we are dummy. They don't think say we have fed. They don't think say we have brain. Me, as you are seeing me, I'm a banker. I studied banking from Lagos State Polytechnic. And then many others, my friend, they study also like that. They think that we cannot perform. And we used to say, when my sister was a journalist to come and interview me, I said, what tall people can do, short people can do more better. I thank our people that they recognize me as APC member. And I'm giving the president the assurance, as me, as Honorable Israel Oluwajijibo Makiode Ocha, for Lagos State as a state special physically
challenge leader of Lagos State, I'm promising that all the physically challenged people in my local government, in my state, we voted for him. And we are more than 28 million in our various local government. Secondly, I want to thank my Excellency, our Oga, Akim Mambode. He has done everything in our life concerning our physically challenged. He empowers us, and I want the other governors to emulate it. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.
It's up a dice. Prince of
ó yẹ fún wọn lẹ́gbẹ̀gbẹ̀ ó yẹ fún wọn lẹ́gbẹ̀gbẹ̀ ó yẹ fún wọn lẹ́gbẹ̀gbẹ̀ fún wọn jẹ́ bí ṣe wẹ́gbẹ̀ ó yẹ fún wọn lẹ́gbẹ̀gbẹ̀ ó yẹ fún wọn lẹ́gbẹ̀gbẹ̀ ó yẹ fún wọn lẹ́gbẹ̀gbẹ̀ fún wọn jẹ́ bí ṣe wẹ́gbẹ̀. iPhone 1 iPhone 2 iPhone 3 iPhone 4.
It's now the turn of the National Assembly members.
Of course, being physically challenged does not remove your right of franchise.
Of course, they constitute a majority of Nigerians and they have ability, they have contributed a lot, and so they have a stake. As such, they have every right to be part of the process, and they are given a chance here to prove their worth. And you can see from what has happened here, they have a lot to offer.
Honorable Nasu will speak first, followed by Senator Ahmad Lawan. It is the turn of the 8th National Assembly. Please, Kwam 1, give us some good music as they come. Kwam 1.
Muhammad Ali, we were talking about the physically challenged were before the arrival of members of the 8th Assembly. You were trying to tell us that it's indeed good that APC has done what no other party has been able to do in the past with persons living with disabilities.
I can see the reason why they feel very comfortable being in the APC, because as you can see from the visual, there are a lot of them. There are some on wheelchairs, some using the crutches, and some, and you can see in all their conventions, their program, you will see that there is always somebody that is doing the sign language, which is an indication that they carry along the physically challenged and they consider them very, very integral part of the society. So I think it's something that is becoming a culture in Nigeria, because in the past we don't consider the people with disability, but you see gradually they are coming into the picture and they are now a force to reckon with. So I think it is something that is very good, and the APC, of course, taking them along is very, very good as well.
So far, the event tonight here at the Eagle Square has been so colorful and interesting. More speeches yet to come as we await the final acceptance speech by Mr. President himself.
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Your Excellency, the Chairman of our great party, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. Through these three important personalities, I greet all party members, leaders who are gathered here tonight to mark another great occasion in the life of our party. We are here to once again re-elect, which we have done and it has been affirmed, President Muhammadu Buhari as the candidate of our party for 2019 election. You will recall that on December 5, 1998, we had the chairmanship election throughout the Federation, and that marked the first in the process of in the last 20 years of our democratic experience. Again, you will recall too that on January 9, 1999,
we had the governorship election. The implication of what I've just said is that children born around that region by 2019 are qualified to go to vote. And the implication of it again is that the democratic space has been expanded because amongst the children, you find very highly educated Nigerians who are accustomed to the use of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the rest of the social media. And that is why politics today is highly criticized, and one must be up and doing. But I'm happy that President Muhammadu Buhari in the last 3.5 years have stood on a firm ground, and you have made us proud, and that is why we are convinced that by 2019 February, you are going to be re-elected for another 4 years. And I'm convinced, and other members are convinced too, that you are going to do us proud by continuing to execute those programs we have set forth. Tonight again, let me say this, that one of the beauties of the last 3.5 years is that President Muhammadu Buhari has brought sanity into governance. And today, the fear of Buhari is the fear of everything that is known as anti-corruption. Finally, I want to use this opportunity to tell Nigerians that those of us in the legislature, we have traveled far and wide, and I want to assure you that the National Assembly of Nigeria is one of the most developed all over the world. We have interacted with other legislators of the world. How do I mean? Please let us find a way of strengthening the National Assembly, because what defines democracy itself is the legislative arm of government. Once that arm of government is weakened, it is likely that democracy itself will be weakened. I'm proud that within the reach and within the ambit of what we are able to do in the last 3.5 years, we have found a way of strengthening democracy, and you will recall that within the context of 2 years, we were able to alter the Constitution, and some of these parts have been assented to by Mr. President. And in fact, one of the most important parts is the Not Too Young to Run bill. And so finally, the National Assembly of Nigeria, particularly the 8th Assembly, is in full support of the candidacy of President Muhammadu Buhari, and we are going to work assiduously to make sure that the 14 million vote that has just been declared as the result of the primary is doubled come February 2018. Thank you very much. I greet all our party members. Safe journey back home. Thank you.
Now the turn of the leader of the 8th Senate, Senator Ahmad Lawan.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, Your Excellency, our Vice President Yomi Oshibajo, GCON, Your Excellencies, very distinguished leaders of our party, led very well by Governor Adams Aliyu Oshimole, very distinguished National Assembly leaders, our progressive governors, the national leader of our party, Asuwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the former chairman of our party, very distinguished elders, leaders, and delegates present. I bring from the Senate of the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria greetings and good wishes. Mr. President, the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria wants to assure you that we remain in our caucus, the APC caucus, determined, focused, resolved to work with you on the 15th of July this year, when we had the unceremonial closure of the Senate and indeed the National Assembly. We had cases of defections that defined the relationships in the Senate. For the first time then, we had the most cohesive, the most united, the most focused APC caucus of the 8th Senate. We never had that before. We remain committed to you, the programs of this administration. We remain loyal to our party, and we shall continue to support every part of any program or all our programs for this administration between now up to the end of this tenure, and of course from 2019 to 2023. Mr. President, let me thank you also for supporting senators who have remained committed, who have remained loyal to this party. I want to also take this opportunity to thank the chairman of this party and other leaders of this party for supporting us at the most difficult time in the history of our primaries. And I want to add that it is not yet Uhuru for some of us. We believe that between this night and tomorrow, there will be some issues that will be resolved in favor of some of our colleagues. Mr. President, I want to also add here that the number of senators in the Senate remain the largest part of the Senate. We remain the majority. I want to call the attention of everyone here that democracy, as defined by Plato, remains the government of the majority, where the minority will always have their say. But those who can recall, there was a situation in Nigeria when 9 was greater than 16. I think we have come to that point again. 9 was greater than 16 some 4 years ago. Now we have our chambers dominated and occupied by opposition, by minority leaders. Today, they simply remain minority leaders occupying our positions illegally. Those who refuse, and failed to follow the path of honor, the path of integrity by exiting, will definitely not stop us from sending them out with the ignominy. Mr. President, very distinguished delegates, I want to conclude by assuring everyone here that 2019, by the grace of God, is going to be a walkover for Mr. President. 2019, by the grace of God, will see APC having more than 24 states like we had before. We should estimate nothing less than 30. We want to have a National Assembly where a minimum of 75% will be senators of the APC, and in the House, 75% majority. We want to have a National Assembly that can at all times work with Mr. President, day and night, deliver to Nigerians what we have lost over the years. We have to work for 6 years in the next 4 years, because the leadership of the National Assembly, unfortunately now clear before us, all of them PDP, have shown that they are not prepared to work with this administration. We intend to work with this administration from now on, whether it requires taking the most difficult decisions, of making uncomfortable decisions, of getting things done, we'll have to do them. Mr. President, Tuesday, we will be going back to the National Assembly when our recess will finish. We intend to force, if we cannot convince, that we pass those budgets for INEC and the security agencies for the 2019 elections. We intend to force, if we cannot convince them to do it peacefully, to pass the foreign borrowing plans. These are essentials for this administration. The Nigerians voted for APC. Some people have taken our mandates and run away with them. We intend to fight, we intend to defend, we intend to promote the interests of this party at all costs. Thank you very much. APC! 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 Nigeria! 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 I'm feeling now.
That was a very reassuring speech from the Senate leader of the 8th Senate of the Federal Republic. As we speak, history is being made.
That was a speech of the Senate leader, and it was indeed a speech that was full of authority. It was a speech that was full of emotion and passion. Yeah, exactly. And as you can see, everybody who was nodding has become alert. Everybody became attentive. And you can see the heads nodding, the hands clapping in agreement with whatever Senator Ahmed Lawan was saying at the immediate after the something. I'm not forgetting what the Deputy Senate leader also said.
Well, quite captivating moment for the audience here, having listened to Senator Ahmed Lawan, Senate leader. Well, Tuesday, the National Assembly hopes to reconvene and continue their legislative duties. Let's see how it goes. Our political space is becoming more expanded, larger, and that is due to increased awareness on the part of those actors and participants, because we must grow further as a great nation.
Well, Kenny, my experience as somebody who has covered the National Assembly, both chambers of the National Assembly, I'm very sure it's going to be normal on that day. Things will settle, because this is election year. You should expect such things, and I'm sure after the the election, the primaries, where everybody will know his faith, whether he's contested or not, and everything, things will calm down, and then governance and the legislatures will settle for business, as at the same time looking forward to the election period. So I'm very sure by Tuesday, when the National Assembly resumes, there will be some tense moments, but I'm assuring you that within the week, everything will calm down.
That's all right. Well, next to speak expectedly is supposed to be the Chairman, Progressives Governors Forum and Governor of Imo State, His Excellency Owele Rochas Okorocha. Let's wait while we enjoy the tune from Allende Wasi.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, GCON SAN. Let me adopt the already established protocol and say a big welcome to all our members who are here, all members of APC who are here. You are all welcome again. APC!
APC. I must say that today my heart overflows with profound gratitude to Almighty God, who has made it possible for all of us to be gathered at this very historic event. It is historic for many reasons, but majorly because we are starting another journey. We are starting another journey because this evening or morning, it's already morning now, Mr. President won election as a candidate to commence what I will term his last political journey, because there is no president that has gone back to Senate. Only governors go to Senate. So, by the grace of God, when Mr. President is elected next year for a second term, we are sure that that will be the last political journey. And we thank God for this great opportunity that our president has. Something had happened in this country before, and that was in 2015, when there was total shake-up of our political landscape. What occurred was unbelievable. Mr. President, you performed what can best be described as an impossibility by that action of your great party, seeing you take over or defeat an incumbent regime that shook the whole of the country. And that put a heavy, very heavy responsibility on you, Mr. President, and on our great party. I stand here on behalf of your governors who have worked with you in the past 3.5 years to say that we confirm that you have discharged this responsibility creditably. All Nigerians bear witness to the fact that you have done it creditably. You took charge with your own, what we call 3 points. You are determined to fight corruption. Mr. President, you have fought it like a gallant soldier that you are. Nigerians are grateful to you. You said to us that you are going to guarantee us our security. Mr. President, I speak on behalf of your governors that today no territory of Nigeria is under threat because of your efforts. And I think the president deserves a round of applause from all of us. You have changed our economy from a mono one. Today, a lot has been done. But one thing that all of us can never forget, Mr. President, is that within a short time, Nigeria was out of recession. That is a feat that all of us will continue to have you take the pride for doing it. When in 2015, what we saw and thereafter up to now is what is described in the Bible
that when the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we were like they that dream. And I'm sure Mr. Vice President will give a better interpretation to that because he is more qualified. Today, Mr. President, your administration and your achievement is like a dream to many of us. It's like a dream to Nigerians. Mr. President, you have done well, and your governors affirm this. That's why we are here to talk. So on behalf of all the governors, our speech is very short. Let me, on their behalf of my brother governors, thank all our members, all members of our party who are here and those who are at home. Those of you who are listening to us, the governors are grateful to you because our members are the ones that have made things very easy for all of us. We do not have money, but we have great people, and our members are the great people of this party. We thank all of you, and I'm asked to request all of us to guide along. We are set to begin another journey, as I said, and we do not want to take anything for granted. As we go back home, let us prepare for this second battle. This will be the second one for APC, and it's one for all of us, and it is one that we must win. We will win this battle by the grace of God. Our president will be returned as president come 2019. Amen. Can we all say amen? Amen. Can we say amen? Amen. Inshallah. Inshallah. Inshallah, Mr. President will return as president come 2019. Inshallah. This is the task. And Mr. President, lastly, my brother governors have requested me to give you an assurance that we will leave from here and lead campaign for your election in all our states. In all our respective states, leave to us, your governors, who will lead your campaign and we will ensure your victory. So victory shall be yours. We thank you all. Victory, victory, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Victory, victory, hallelujah. Buhari go win forever, pata, pata. Thank you all.
The Progressives Governors Forum has spoken through Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, who stood in for Owele Rochas Okorocha. Muhammad Ali, the governors are primed for action, action and more action.
Yes, you know, the governors are leaders in their own rights, and you know, the democratic system in practice in Nigeria, the governors are the backbone. Now that they've spoken, they've given their assurance for assurance to the president. I think we should look forward to a very serious campaigns and politicking. So I'm very sure with the resolution of the delegates here and with the deadline for the submission of candidates tomorrow and with the campaigns proper coming up very soon, the democratic space is going to be very, very active, Kenny.
Very interesting. But that's the situation. Well, we're almost coming to the climax of this event here at the Eagle Square. Of course, vote of thanks by His Excellency Governor Kashim Shettima, the Vice Chairman. Conventional Planning Committee is supposed to be the next on the item. And after that, expectedly, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, will deliver his acceptance speech. Let's all keep it straight right here on the NTA.
Wasiu Ainde Marshall, Kwam One, the ultimate. I, first of all, noted the fact that we are recording history much earlier. And I did announce that this is the third national convention. But I have been corrected and well guided that the first national convention was held here in Abuja. The second was held in Lagos, which produced our presidential candidate then, now our President Muhammadu Buhari. The third convention, National Convention of the APC, ratified the election of the national chairman, the current national chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole. This national convention was held on the 23rd of June, 2018. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, this is APC's fourth national convention. And this convention, like we earlier announced, has only one agenda item: endorsement and ratification of APC's presidential candidate, our president, who is ready to face whichever opponent the other political parties produce, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. We are first rounding off this special convention at this special occasion. It is therefore my honor and privilege to call on the Vice Chairman of the 2018 Fourth Special Convention of the APC, in person of His Excellency, Governor Kashim Shettima, Executive Governor of Borno State, to come and give the vote of thanks. Thereafter, we will have the acceptance speech of President Muhammadu Buhari as APC's presidential candidate for the 2019 presidential election. Governor Kashim Shettima, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, Your Excellency, the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SAN, GCON, Your Excellency, the National Chairman of our party, Comrade Adams Ali Oshomole, our national leader, Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and all founding elders of the APC, members of the Board of Trustees, members of national and state working committees, my colleagues, governors and deputy governors, the secretary to the government of the Federation, and principal officers and members of the national and state assemblies, ministers, all serving and former public office holders, our esteemed delegates, party members, well-wishers, our friends from the media, all other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to start this vote of thanks by making a prediction. However, before my prediction, I would like to give a quick background. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, ahead of the 2019 general elections, the two major political parties, the APC and the PDP, are squaring up to win the presidential contest come February 2019. Now, as early as the 9th of April 2018, our party, the APC, already had its own presidential candidate, was only waiting for the fulfillment of formalities. If we are to count the number of days from when President Muhammadu Buhari declared his intention to seek re-election in April to date, we'll discover that the APC identified its popular presidential candidate exactly 180 days ago. This is equivalent to 6 months back. Your Excellencies, as a student of politics, I know as much as our political leaders here do know that in the groundwork of presidential election, lagging behind by 6 months is a very long time. From April, when the president declared his intention, the APC has been going round, working across the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT to win the 2019 presidential election. Ladies and gentlemen, on the other hand, the PDP is still trying to produce a presidential candidate. Probably, pending any implosion, they might likely come up with one tomorrow. Mr. President, it is now time for my prediction. I predict that the more prepared APC will, inshallah, win the presidential election with a landslide. And after our victory, the PDP, which is already 180 days behind us, will come out holding press conferences, staging protests, and my friend Ben Mure Bruce tweeting, accusing the APC of rigging the 2019 general election. My prayers, however, is that God should give PDP the courage and patriotism to accept the obvious possibility, which is palpably glaring to every discernible mind, of losing the 2019 presidential and other elections. On this note, Your Excellencies, I would like, on behalf of the chairman and members of the National Convention Committee, convey our deepest gratitude to first and foremost our over 7,000 delegates who came from all parts of this country for the sole purpose of holding their obligations to the APC and to Nigeria. Well, in any case, if anyone will accuse me of breaching protocol for starting with delegates, may I remind us that in the APC, Mr. President is the #1 delegate. Our committee would like to thank Mr. President for the commitment and the Vice President for his support as well. Our national chairman, Comrade Adams Oshomole, toast, who first and foremost found us worthy of being entrusted with a national assignment as important as today's convention. We appreciate the national chairman for the honor in trusting us. We appreciate all national and state executives of the APC, national and state assembly members, past and serving public office holders, party chieftains, both young and old, men and women. We thank all our party members who include the non-delegates as well. We are grateful to each and everyone who played a major and the slightest role. Our list is endless, but of special mention are those who provided all kinds of social services, security personnel who gave protection, and journalists who are giving us free and unbiased media coverage. We are grateful to all Nigerians who support and believe in the principles of the APC. Your Excellencies, I would like to finally thank the chairman of our committee, His Excellency Senator Abiola Ajimobi, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, for his inclusive leadership. I should also thank my sister, the Dojet Hadiza Bala Usman, for her secretarial services. I thank all members for their commitments. I am particular about the untiring and hardworking Farouk Adamu Aliu and Ms. Abike Dabri Erewa and every other member of the committee. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier, the APC started its journey to the presidential race 6 months earlier than the PDP. It is therefore the wish and prayers of our committee that by the special grace of God, in another 6 months, we shall gather here in peace and unity to witness the swearing in of Muhammadu Buhari and Yemi Osinbajo for the second term as President and Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as H.S. Aga said, the truth that sets men free is most often the truth that men prefer not to hear. This government has performed wonderfully well, from security to food security of the nation, from providing the infrastructure that the country acutely needs, and of course, to social palliatives across the length and breadth of this country. But the wailing wailers will continue to deny and hide behind their fingers. Party members, our committee have spoken, and so shall it be by the grace of God. I thank you all for listening, and God bless.
Shatima is a gentleman all the time. Shatima, gentleman.
The highly resourceful and bookworm governor of Borno State, Governor Kashim Shettima, there with a lovely vote of thanks to all and sundry. Well, that's what you get when you assemble a team of very highly intelligent people to handle such a national project.
You can say that again, Kenny. And we are waiting now for President Muhammadu Buhari to come forward for his acceptance speech. But really, that vote of thanks was really something that will touch the minds of a lot of our people. It was well written, full of humor, good words, tantrums, challenges, confidence, you name it. And I think it is something that Governor Shettima must have rehearsed over and over, or something that just comes naturally to him because he's part of the committee. Whatever it is a well-written and well-delivered vote of thanks.
We call on Governor Ajimobi, Chairman of the Convention Planning Committee, to please join them here as we get set for the climax of tonight's event. Thank you very much.
And talking about the climax of tonight's event, it will be the acceptance speech by Mr. President himself, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, the man for whom all has gathered here tonight. His vote has been ratified and affirmed by the delegates themselves, amounting to 14,842,072 votes. Quite massive, almost 15 million votes for him to fly the APC presidential flag come 2019 presidential election. So any moment from now, he will be talking to the delegates as well as to Nigerians. We are sure he will reassure us that the next 4 years, if re-elected, will be better than he met it.
Kennedy, do you think the president is going to tell us some of the things he will do. I think he may likely give us a tip of what he intends to consider. But I'm very sure the economy, security, and anti-corruption will always be the top three. And well, I don't want to preempt whatever he's going to say. I'm just trying to predict, just like the vote of thanks. He said he was going to make a prediction, yes. and I'm very bad at predicting things. I don't know whether you will predict better.
Well, actually, he might just have a little more surprise for everybody tonight.
Well, we are waiting, and any moment from now, the man of the moment, the man that all the 7,000 delegates from across the country are here to rectify the 14 million, almost 15 million vote members of the All Progressive Congress across the country have voted in favor of. I will have something to say, and everybody, I'm very sure the whole of Nigeria will be attentive to hear what the president will say, what is going to be, how will he accept this nomination, what will he tell Nigerians, what assurance, what promises, or perhaps he may surprise us by, like you said, by bringing a new dimension to the whole exercise. But then, just like every other person across the country, we are eagerly waiting to hear from Mr. President.
Generally speaking, Muhammad Ali, I think the organization and the handling of tonight's project here at the Eagle Square by the APC has been quite hitch-free and interesting. All activities here went smoothly, and I think it's just more like that.
Exactly, Kenneth. I wanted to say that, but I was waiting when we are going to round up so that we can tell the people how it all went. Actually, there is everything here is calm. Everybody is orderly. The security is okay, and I think it's something that is really commendable.
Bauchi State, 316,199. Bayelsa State, 210,201. Benue State, 259,130. Borno State, 456,601. Cross River State, 145,615. Delta State, 132,985. Ebonyi State, 157,455 votes. Edo State, 505,827 votes. Ekiti State, 199,724. Enugu State, 70,291. Gombe State, 112,857. Imo State, 150,830. Jigawa State, 202,599 votes. Kaduna State, 579,209. Kano State, 2,931,235 votes. Katsina State, 802,819 votes. Kebbi State, 210,687 votes. Kogi State, 387,003. Kwara State, 159,822 votes. Lagos State, 2,272,722. Nasarawa State, 110,879 votes. Niger State, 387,097 votes. Ogun State, 586,453 votes. Ondo State, 436,968 votes. Osun State, 512,013 votes. Oyo State, 421,200 votes. Plateau State, 123,073. Rivers State, 388,653 votes. Sokoto State, 330,091 votes. Taraba State, 139,102 votes. Yobe State, 199,414 votes. Zamfara State, 247,847 votes. FCT, 54,128,000 votes. The total national results across the respective states of the Federation and the FCT totals to 14,842,072 votes were casted for our presidential nominee. Thank you very much. APC! APC!
I'm privileged to call on His Excellency Governor Ajimobi, Executive Governor of your state and Chairman of this 4th Special Convention of the APC, to come and make this important announcement.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Those who are ready, say aye. The more you answer me, the more God will be ready for you. Those who are ready, say aye. It is on your behalf and on behalf of the good people of Nigeria that I invite the Waterloo of our opponent, that I invite the antidote of all locusts, political locusts. It is on your behalf that I invite the insecticide of political termites. It is on your behalf that I invite the leader, the statesman, the most integrous president, the friend of the masses, the one that fights to put food on the table for the masses and not to put masses on the menu. The friend of all of us, the man who has exemplified godliness. Godliness is service to humanity. This man, the one and only man, the man of the hour, our own Mr. Indefatigable, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, our own Say Baba, the President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, is hereby invited to come and give us his acceptance speech. Thank you.
Sai mai gaskiya. Your Excellency, leaders and members of our great party, as you have all heard, the result of the direct primaries, which has been affirmed by all the delegates here present, it is now my rare honor and privilege to formally announce the winner of the presidential primary election, who happened to be the sitting president, President Muhammadu Buhari. I hereby formally present him to our leaders, to our country, as the candidate of the APC for the 2019 presidential election. By the special grace of God, victory shall be ours. Mr. President, you have now the duty and privilege and opportunity to accept the nomination. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, the Chairman. Your Excellency, the Vice President, the National Chairman, All Progressives Congress, Comrade Adams Oshomole, Chairman, National Convention Committee, Your Excellency, Abiola Ajimobi, and other members of the governorship of the states, Your Excellencies, the progressive governors, party leaders, Asuwaju Bola Tinubu, and Chief BC Akande, leaders of the APC, members of the National Assembly present, members of Federal Executive Council, state and local government chairmen of APC, delegates and party supporters, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to the chairman and members of the convention committee for planning and conducting this convention. The same appreciation goes to the chairman of national and state executive committees of our party. Thank you very much for doing a difficult job so well. I would like to pay tribute to Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Chief BC Akande, the first chairman of our great party, and to Chief John Oyegun, who led the party until this year, and all the APC governors. The result of the presidential primaries of the All Progressive Congress this time is different because I am the only candidate. I thank all other eligible candidates who deferred to me in the interest of our party, unity, and overall national stability. Fellow party members, it is with a deep sense of humility that I stand before you today to accept the nomination of our party, the All Progressives Congress, to be its candidate and flag bearer in the 2019 presidential elections. As I stand before you, there is no honor greater than the confidence given to me by all of you when you affirmed my nomination. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your guidance. I thank you for staying committed to the change agenda. I accept this honor as a tribute and mark of confidence to carry the responsibility as we all join hands to continue the good work of the All Progressive Congress government to 2023 and beyond. We are very proud of our records from 2015 to date. We have arrested and checked the slide to anarchy on the security and economic fronts. Boko Haram is reduced to dastardly attacks on soft targets. Normalcy has returned to much of Northeast and neighboring Northwest states. Our currency has stabilized. Our reserves are now $44 United States billion, a lot higher than we had in 2015. Power generation capacity has reached 8,000 megawatts against less than 4,600 when we came into office. As we invest in new power generation infrastructure, we are strenuously working to address the legacy deficiencies and challenges of transmission and distribution networks across the country. We are executing independent power projects in 9 federal universities to deliver an uninterrupted power supply, and we intend to expand to a total of 37 universities. We have revived most of our capacity to produce fertilizers locally. The government, through its Anchor Borrowers Program and other incentives, has empowered more than 2 million farmers to go back to the land. We now produce 80% of our rice requirements. Many farmers who nearly lost hope are now millionaires. We have introduced primary school feeding programs to encourage attendance and enrollment. We also have introduced the conditional cash transfer to help small and medium businesses, the men, the women, and young people who drive our economy. We have repaired and are repairing major arterial roads and starting major railway projects with the aim of linking the 36 states with efficient road and rail transportation system. We are attacking corruption head-on. With international support, we are recovering stolen Nigerian assets and applying them to infrastructural developments. Today, the corrupt are facing the wrath of law, and leakages have been generally blocked. Mr. Chairman, Your Excellencies, members of the APC, we can be proud of our achievements. Change has come. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Nigerians, think how much PDP governments earned between 1999 and 2015. Think what they did with it. Infrastructure down, security down, 18 local governments of Nigeria under control of a hostile army of insurgents. Reserves depleted. Bankruptcy around the corner. What did they do with the money? Internationally, Nigeria is now respected. My interaction with foreign heads of state and government has been very encouraging. The international community is very supportive of our efforts to put our country in order. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the APC, I thank you deeply for your support and confidence in me. I will not let you or the people of Nigeria down. On to victory in 2019. Long live APC. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless all of you. Thank you very much.
All right, exactly with that acceptance speech by President Muhammadu Buhari, it's all over here at the Eagle Square, so to speak. Muhammad Ali has been with me here. Muhammad?
Yes, like I said, he's likely going to highlight what he has done, and he has just done that. He has thanked everybody, and he has promised to continue doing what he has been doing. And I'm very sure everybody will be happy with that speech by the president, and we're looking forward to a hit-free presidential election come 2019.
All right, well, it's done and dusted here for us at the Eagle Square, but don't go away as we hand you back to the studio with Cyril Stolber and co standing by. Cyril, take it off from here.
Kene, and well, we still have Jide with us here in the studio, and that's the climax we've witnessed. A ceremony, as people say, which was just a matter of course, just to affirm, and that has been done, and the president has accepted his party's ticket to run for 2019. So the APC will no doubt be looking to 2019 with the hope that they might just garner much more than the 2.5 million votes margin by which the president won in 2015, right?
Very much so. What we've just witnessed is coronation, so to speak. It wasn't really, it was more like a carnival because the deed was done on the 28th of September. They just brought the collateral results, announced it, affirmed it, and then we've seen all the speeches and all of that. But that's the traditional way it goes. The battle ahead is fiercer. Recall that I said in 2015 we have 26 parties, about 20 political party fielded presidential candidates. We do not know until when INEC will publish the list of candidates how many presidential candidates we are going to have going to 2019 presidential elections. But of course, President Buhari has an added advantage as an incumbent, and of course the fact that he's been able to have his hand stretch across the Niger, particularly the southwest. He's holding tight to southwest through Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and a host of other southwest governors. Recall that as we speak, the six states of the southwest is firmly under the APC governorship. And that will count for much for them. Of course, traditionally, it's always won the northern states. But like I pointed out when we first came on, the battle is going to be most likely between two northern eminent candidates.
Right.
Two northern Muslims. And so unlike in 2015 when we have one southern, one northern, so the dynamics have changed. And election is becoming tighter. Recall that it just concluded Osun governorship election that was concluded on 27th of September. The winner won by just 480 votes. 482 votes, actually. First time in history that you have a governorship election that close. Again, when you look at the trajectory in presidential election, in 2011, PDP candidate Goodluck Jonathan defeated Buhari by over 10 million votes. But 4 years down the line, the margin narrowed to 2.5 million. Right. With which the APC candidate, then Buhari, defeating the same Goodluck Jonathan. We do not know, now that we have 91 political parties, many of which we may say are just also run, mere spectators or pretenders, as we call them. There are contenders and there are pretenders. So we may be looking at our own crystal ball and say there will be two dominant political parties. Well, we can't rule out the fact that there are also strong parties coming up from SDP, from ADP, from ADC, and we may have quite a number of young people also picking tickets of somewhat anonymous parties and turning them to brands. So the campaigns will be very robust. I look forward to a very colorful campaign, but it comes down to money. Which party has the war chest to prosecute a successful campaign? Because they just have 90 days to do that. 90 days for campaigns. And that 90 days, the incumbent is an advantage. He has the state resources behind him. And of course, the people will make the final choice when the time comes.
Well, this may have been smooth sailing so far in affirming and endorsing a candidate for the presidential election. But again, watchers of the political scene will say there's still a lot of work to do within this same party, seeing the way a lot of the primaries went in the governorship and National Assembly.
Very much so. In fact, I was just getting updates on the media about even when Senate leader Ahmed Lawan spoke, you heard him say that they will try to retrieve their mandate from those who have defected with it. So the battle is going to shift from Eagle Square to the National Assembly on Tuesday when the National Assembly reconvenes. And the dynamics that plays out at that this week that we started today may be a pointer to 2019, because it depends on whether there are more aggrieved aspirants within the fold of APC. If there are more who are going to defect to opposition party in the coming days, that may be to the advantage of the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Reps. However, if there are more aggrieved from the other side, from PDP, defecting to APC, we may see, because it's coming to numbers now, we may see a change in the leadership of the National Assembly, both either Senate or House of Reps or both. And if they are able to gain control, if APC is able to gain control of the National Assembly as it were, it's going to count for much, because then that means they will be able to push through many legislations ahead of the 2019 election. Because what it comes down to is, apart from Naira and Kobo, it also will be what can they campaign on? Right. What have they been able to do? Legislation-wise, we have supported the president on anti-corruption, we've passed this legislation, we've been able to release the funds for INEC, we've been able to pass the legal framework and the electoral reform bill. So all of that will be the dynamics that will play out in the coming days. But it's an interesting time, really.
All right, interesting times. And so we'll have to leave it here at this time and say thank you very much to Jide Uju, who's been with us throughout this.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Happy Sunday, everyone.
Right. And also thank you for being part of this. And this is where we conclude the coverage of the APC National Convention. Normal programming will return. I'm Cyril Stover. Bye for now.